you guys have seen a lot of demonstrations over the last few weeks. You've heard from a lot of other vendors. We are here today to tell you exactly why NetSuite is the partner of choice. We can provide unique value for PMC that no other competitor can. You're in a unique position. Your industry is ever changing and it's always evolving. NetSuite's industry is exactly the same way. We're experiencing our own evolution. As technology changes, we want to make the experience better and more efficient for our customers. The similar is happening in your industry as well. Think about dentistry and orthodontia 200 years ago and how that technology has changed. Now, I gotta warn you, the graphic that I'm about to show you may be a little disturbing to some of you, okay? But it's an accurate representation of what the trends have looked like over 200 years. Okay? Wow, right? That looks like some sort of torture device. Let's call that ERP circa 1980, right? So the idea here is, over the years, the technology has changed to make your end customers' lives better, right? More user-friendly, more efficient. I'm sure some of us can relate to this. No one ever got their faces stuck together, right? But as we move through the years, the technology has become more streamlined, right? More accessible, more readily available. All the way through to something like Invisalign. Okay? These are services that you're providing your customers. Your industry is changing. Again, NetSuite's industry is changing as well. We have taken the last 19 years worth of experience, implementing at over 11,500 customers, all of those leading practices, trials, tribulations, everything that we've learned, and it's culminated in what we're calling Suite Success. Okay? This is a representation of the evolution and the journey that we're prepared to take you on. We understand that transformation can be scary, right? It's a daunting task to go from that torture chamber device to Invisalign, but we have a clearly defined roadmap and a plan to get you there. A wise man once told me, take small bites and chew fast. Sound familiar? Okay. This is the plan that we're laying out. I'm going to transition to my team now to get things started, okay? But the idea here is that NetSuite has leading practices to get you to the transformative state that you want to be in. So with that, my name is Nick Meyer. I've been working hands-on with ERP for the last 10 years, specifically in financial services and healthcare organizations such as yourself. I think today we're going to prove to you why NetSuite is the partner of choice for PMC.
Thanks, Nick. So this should be fairly familiar to you. This is your NetSuite account team. So this account team has over 100 years of collective experience in the business. This account team has been working very diligently, close with your key stakeholders, to get to the point where we are today. And we're very excited to show you the results of that hard work. So let's jump into the agenda. Our understanding of PMC, NetSuite's Suite Success Solution, customer success and value, and next steps. So this is a very streamlined agenda that's going to take about 23 minutes. Just want to make sure this meets your expectations for what you're expecting for today. Perfect. So let's start showing you that value. And at the end of the presentation, we are going to ask for the business because we're going to show you a very compelling value proposition, and we're going to want to fast forward that value as soon as possible.
So part of that value that's provided by Nick, or that Nick discussed, that is provides a unique solution or a unique offering for your business, is partly because of the way it addresses the strategy that PMC is pursuing. Meredith and I wanted to go through just quickly our understanding of the PMC strategy, what you're trying to achieve in your business, some of the challenges that we heard in our interactions with you so far, and how NetSuite helps provide that unique solution. First, our key understanding of where PMC is headed in your business has to do with the value that you've been bringing to the marketplace overall, how you've addressed dental firms, helping them offload the administrative work so that they can focus on patient care. And that continues to be a key part of your growth strategy, as is displayed in slide number 2, that you've got a goal of growing revenue by expanding into new territories and geographies, such as in the Northeast, or growing in new lines of business. And that third, you want to make sure you're operating efficiently, that you're growing profitably making really good decisions and doing it effectively. So that's what we've understood from your strategy so far. Is that consistent with? Okay, I see some head nodding. Thank you. So let's talk, Meredith, about what some of the challenges have been in the way of achieving those strategies.
Thank you, Brent. So we have been talking throughout this whole period, and we've come up with some challenges that are really, might help struggle for you to actually hit the strategies that you would like to achieve. So the first, Steve, you let me know that you have multiple instances of QuickBooks and Great Plains, and you really don't have a holistic view of your company as a whole. So Natasha, to continue on that point, Matt, I'm sorry, thank you. I didn't know we were on nickname basis yet, but this is really, causing issues getting any sort of consolidated reporting, and it can lead up to 2 weeks or even more to close books. And ultimately, Warren, you mentioned that this, reaching your growth targets is really something that's going to be necessary in order for you as a company to succeed and to grow. And ultimately, you need to get this reporting to ensure that you can continue receiving that funding. So these are some challenges that we've come up with. Have I hit most of them? Great. Well, we look forward to showing you throughout the rest of the presentation how these challenges are going to be addressed.
Before we jump into a little more detail about the solution, we wanted to address how NetSuite will help you achieve your strategies by removing some of those barriers to success. First, Nick talked about how we have a very unique solution in the marketplace in that we have leading practices and a way to help you evolve in your business. Your strategy in the marketplace is very focused on helping dental firms be more focused on patient care. Well, our leading practices are a unique offering in the marketplace in that they're essentially a turnkey solution to offload from you that back office work effort so that you can focus on helping those dental practices. Second, in terms of growing revenue, we have key reporting. We'll show a little bit about this in the solution. We have key reporting capabilities and data capabilities that give you a very key profitable view into what's working well in your business and what's not, so that you can grow profitably, make wise expansion decisions, and make sure you're in compliance and continue funding that revenue growth that you're driving. And finally, the leading practices in the NetSuite solution consolidate quickly to give you a quick view across all those businesses to solve that problem that you've got with multiple instances of Great Plains and QuickBooks, and give you quick metrics to make wise decisions as you move forward. So that's how NetSuite will help PMC as you address the next phase of your business. Nick, we want to drill more into the solution.
Perfect. Thanks, Brent. So Brent gave us some insight as to how and what NetSuite can do for PMC. What I want to do here is highlight specifically the unique value that only NetSuite can provide. You've heard us throw around these terms, suite success, leading practices. What the heck does that mean, right? What is a leading practice? Again, a leading practice is the culmination of 19 years worth of experience across those 11,500 customers. It's risk mitigation, it's time savings, it's delivered content from day one of Go Live. And these are unique values that only NetSuite provides. Now, I know we talked extensively about your organization during the Align call, but I wanted to hone in on the area that was most important to you based on that conversation. 85% of your revenue comes from the clinics. Warren, you told me that you can't visualize profitability at the clinic level across the line of business. And if you're going to grow the organization, how can you grow in the most profitable areas if you don't have that sort of visibility? Okay? With the leading practices that we're providing, we're giving you a transactional-based application with the ability to capture granular details, and then the byproduct of that, detailed reporting and visualizations. Okay? So as we're entering information and sales order flowing into an invoice without manually rekeying data, good data in, good data out. There's reporting, and I'm losing my microphone. Check. Nope. So there's reporting and analytics built in and delivered as part of Suite Success and the financials first. Let me give you an example. Okay? This is Invisalign, right? This is the Invisalign of ERP. This is the evolution that I was alluding to earlier. Okay? On day one, you have this sort of transparency. Let's take it a step further. Full P&L at a location level. You want to drill down to each individual clinic and see their profitability? I can do that for you on the first day. Let's take it one step further. Here are the revenue streams across every single clinic. Do you think this would benefit the business?
Yeah.
Excellent. Any questions on that? No? Excellent. So from here, now that we're talking about how NetSuite is going to help you achieve these goals, let's transition into the implementation approach and how we can get you live in under 100 days.
Thank you. So let's talk about our implementation approach. And this is a very different implementation approach than something that you might have seen in the past. And we've broken it into 4 stages: engage, drive, enable, and convert. Now this might look similar to what you've seen from other people, but what's different here is that the moment the engage stage starts and the kickoff occurs with the project team, you are going to get over 2,500 hours of pre-built data that's already going to be into the system. You're going to get these same dashboards that you saw during the demo. The only difference is that it's not going to have your data in it yet. So we're going to go through this implementation and work with you as a team to really make sure that this is exactly what you need. So within the engage stage, you're going to get the user adoption strategy, and we're really going to set our goals for the implementation process. So once we move on to the drive stage here, we'll actually get into some slight configuration. You know, most of this is already going to be done for you, but we're under the impression that there's going to be some personalization that needs to occur here, and that's where we'll be doing this in this drive stage. And we're going to go through process walkthroughs to make you comfortable with the software, make sure that you understand, you know, what we're going through. And if anything changes, we can adjust as we need to, because the software is so flexible. And then we will move on to the enable stage, and here you would do the finalization of the data migration. We're going to get that data that we were talking about in your multiple different systems, and we're going to get that actually into your one NetSuite instance. Then we'll go through the complete walkthroughs and any user acceptance testing, which we've pretty much been going through as we went through the whole process anyways, and then final training. And finally, we'll go through to convert, and we'll actually, you know, hit that go live date of, you know, 0 to cloud in 100 days or less. That's our goal. To make sure that you are able to actually go live, and we'll provide some support with, to work with you while you are going live, and eventually transition you to support. How does this look for you?
I'm curious about the configuration and one of that drive.
Yes,
Category.
absolutely. What are you curious about?
Just to what extent, you know, I want to feel good about the hours and your past experience with companies like ours, and then want to use such that we can have something through a box. Then as the configuration starts to worry me that there's cost associated with things. How much out of the box configuration?
Okay, so just to make sure I understand your question, the configuration below there is scaring me a little bit because we're saying we do have pre-built hours, but you know, you're also seeing that there's an additional configuration that might go into this. So that's a really wonderful way to put it. We do have 25,000 hours already built into the system, but like you said, you know, every business is slightly different, and I myself have gone through hundreds of implementations, so I have seen why there might be some need for changes along the way. So really, we put that in there as we can't expect everything to be exactly the way you want it, but we are getting you most of the way there before you even get any data into the system. So the configuration is going to be minimal, but it's just to ensure that it is the way that you want it to be once you go live. Yes?
So you mentioned 25,000 hours. So how many hours is this product itself? Because it seems like if we can do leading practices, it should be like no hours.
Yes, well, you know,
So it should get free implementation.
let me make sure I understand your question. So you think that the implementation itself should be free?
Just no, I mean hours wise. Like, first of all, you're gonna get 25,000.
That was a little bit there, 2,500 hours.
I'm sorry, 2,500 hours. Yes, I added an extra 0 there. Thank you for clarifying. So there is extra, you know, we do have configuration already started, but you have data that's in a lot of different systems that we need to get into that system. And that data, you know, there takes some getting it out of your current systems and actually making sure that it's accurate, doing some data massaging to make sure it actually can get into the system. And that's what our implementation team is there to do, and is to get that information into the system for you. Any other questions? Okay, let's move on.
Hi, Dean Collins. I'm an account executive with NetSuite. Thanks again for your time today. Really appreciate it. You know, at NetSuite, we really value our customers. Their success and their growth is very important to us. So I'm excited to share with you today a customer success story of one of our clients, which I think will be very relevant to your business. Community Veterinary Partners is just like your business. They came to us having just received a round of private equity funding. But just like you, they also faced a lot of challenges and threats to their corporate growth strategy. For them, they had about 24 veterinary hospitals running on separate instances of QuickBooks. And what they needed to do was consolidate those subsidiaries onto a singular platform. They were facing a lot of risks and challenges around visibility, consolidation, and scalability. Bringing their business onto NetSuite allowed them to really increase the scalability of their organization. And from there, they were able to actually acquire 10 separate veterinary hospitals year over year for the following 5 years after they implemented NetSuite, and they were able to acquire those hospitals and seamlessly integrate those hospitals into the broader operation of CVP. In addition to that, they gained the visibility across the entire business unit that allowed them to access the data they needed to make important decisions on their business. So in working with companies like Community Veterinary Partners and working with companies like ClearChoice Management, what we were able to do is really take our expertise with those organizations and build out our leading practices, which we've been discussing with you here today, as well as in our previous conversations with you in meetings. And through our Suite Success methodology, we want to turn over those leading best practices to you on day one so that you can realize some immediate impact to your business. We want to make sure that your time to value with NetSuite through our Suite Success methodology is much quicker than with an alternative solution who uses a more antiquated customer engagement model than us. And with that being said, we have a very good relationship with CVP and with ClearChoice, and we're happy to put you in contact with the CFOs at either company. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to my colleague. We'll take a look at the value chain assessment.
Thanks, Dean. I'm Sal Desai, an account executive here. We went through the value chain assessment pretty early on in our conversation, but I think it speaks very well to Suite Success's overall value and why it's an impressive methodology. Earlier on, we started out talking about evolution of your industry. Our industry's also evolved, and so has our product offering, and it's continuing to evolve day over day. In the early days of our organization, we might have been just one of these rows in this value chain assessment, but we've built it out and we're going to continue to build it out going forward. We also have experience in our 19 years, and that's led to some leading practices that we're able to deploy for you in the implementation, and it's how we're able to get people to the cloud in 100 days, as discussed earlier. We also have expertise in a lot of different business processes and workflows, and we've been able to provide different leading practices for those areas. Dr. Worthington, earlier on in our conversations, you mentioned that you were making investments in some cases because you lacked visibility into the profitability of practices based on gut instincts. Now, that's great in Las Vegas at a blackjack table, but it's probably not a great way to run the business going forward and to meet your goals. I'd like to turn things over to my colleague Jocelyn, who can speak more to the actual quantifiable value we can show you.
Yes, I'm Jocelyn from the value engineering team, and I would like to, first of all, validate some of the numbers that we worked on together the last few weeks, and then I can dive into the actual financial benefits that we're expecting. So what we've heard very much is that today you're in a marginal state of business from a process efficiency standpoint, and you aspire to be either best in class or marginal overall. Does that summarize very much what we've talked about in the last few weeks? Pretty much? Yeah, okay, I just want to validate that. So from there, we went ahead and we did some financial modeling, and then we thought, well, where's the value going to come from? Overall, at your current rate of revenue, we can see that you're going to be achieving in the neighborhood of $676,000 every year. That obviously will go up significantly as you go to a $100 million business. If you do a net present value of your benefit over 3 years, it's in the neighborhood of $3.5 million. What I'd like to stress here today is that there are 2 out-of-pocket savings in this list of benefits. The cost of capital and the procurement. Those two items are out-of-pocket savings, and as you take this forward, you can be aggressive in these areas and actually create a self-funding initiative, which is quite unique in this business, right? You could, from a cash flow perspective, be cash flow neutral, as these are going to create out-of-pocket savings. Are you comfortable with these projections that we're?
I'd like to clarify the $676,000 we can experience in year one. What is the cost of NetSuite software implementation?
So $676,000 is the total value that you can generate with a $20 million revenue run rate. Right? So I think what we should do next is probably do some cash flow analysis and lay out some benefit schedules, and we could get into some details around that. But that is the 1 year knock that you can deliver at your current rate.
And how much is it out of pocket? You said there were a few that were out of pocket.
Yeah, so the DSO reduction will translate into an out-of-pocket savings. Yes. And then the spend management is another area. Your $12 million spend that you have today, if you apply some aggressive strategic sourcing techniques to this, you could generate in excess of $60,000, even more, maybe a lot more. So there's opportunities here to create a self-funding initiatives.
Any other questions there, gentlemen, on the numbers? Is there anything you want to strip out of there that you think it's too high? Do you think it's, too low?
Well, I think 87K out of pocket seems to be reasonable.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, even if we took another $100,000 down off of the number, right? I mean, here nor there, we'll concede that. Still over $500,000 in savings. So, what I want to do is just kind of recap and go into the pricing, the investment, right, that we're going to ask from you today as our partner. We basically feel that the value that NetSuite is bringing, our competition cannot. This is not moving. So, I can't get you the pricing. Anyway, none of our competition is going to deliver the value that NetSuite brings. Why? Because we've spent thousands of hours, as Meredith had mentioned, building leading practices, right? Any of the competition is going to come in here and they're going to start you at the ARG1. You're going to build from scratch everything in a standard, traditional implementation methodology that's going to have overruns, cost changes. What we're providing you today is a simple, straightforward, cost-effective number and investment that you know is fixed price. Simple. End of story. And with that, we're asking you to take the step with us and go forward and execute agreements today so that we can get you live in 100 days or less.
How much are we paying for support in that 91K? 77.
I can get that for you. I can break that down. Can we leave that for later? But it's all built in. It's all rolled into the 77.
Well, I like to understand how much of it's offense. I mean, the reason I ask is, our budget was 80,000, so I'm trying to figure out which areas are possible potentially. Great in-house techniques. You're going to need so much support.
Sure.
If we had fewer hours, we would need that 3,000 hours.
So if I understand your question, your concern is the amount of support cost that's involved. I think if you look at the overall number and you take the percentage, it's 0.67% of your annual revenue. What we're asking you to reinvest into your business to take you where you want to go.
Well, the way I look at it though is that the cost of year one is 139, the out of pocket in the previous cycle was 87. So, it looks like the net we're spending more money, right, based on what you showed us before. So that's kind of why I'm looking at getting this down to 80K, and then at least that covers our out of pocket savings.
Yeah, okay, so to understand your question, you need to take it down to 80K. Is there a specific reason or thought process to that?
There are two reasons. One is that was our budget. We don't want to go back to the board and try to get approved funding more than that. And second of all, even if I do get funding more than that, what I can share with the board is out of pocket savings of 87K. Right? So I can't go to the board and say I'm going to save 87K, but I need to spend 140,000 to save 87K for the out of pocket. So I think we just need to spend a little bit more time going through these numbers.
And we're happy to do that. I think what we were hoping to show is not only is the out-of-pocket expense there day one, but within a year. I don't know why that's far away.
Okay.
drive you guys towards success. So, what I want to do just to finish things out, I know we are short on time, but we were here 4 months ago to kick things off. We sat down and asked you guys to go on a journey with us. That journey has now culminated in these last 5 steps. So we are in the midst of finalizing all the documents. We did bring them with us today. We did actually receive those this morning. We want to get those executed as early as today, but if we keep on pace for next week, we're talking a project kickoff of February and go live.
We're done?
Yeah, we're virtual. Yeah.